Have you ever thought about what it would be like if your digital life, every single click, every search, every word you say into your might, had a consciousness of its own? I'm not talking about an assistant, but like a second self. Well, let's get into it because we're looking at an incredibly ambitious project that's trying to build exactly that, a digital shadow.
The project's name is Dui Yi, and that means facing the shadow. The whole inspiration comes from this really beautiful line by the ancient poet Li Bai. See, the idea isn't about a shadow that just follows you around. It's about turning to face it, to acknowledge it. And in that moment, you create this trio, you, your reflection, and this newfound awareness.
And this, right here, is the central question that this whole thing is built on. I mean, what if that shadow, the complete record of everything you do online, wasn't just some passive log file? What if it had a voice? What if it had opinions? And what if its entire job was to hold you accountable? So how in the world do you even start building something like that? The project's manifesto is super clear on one thing. This is not a tool. It's not an app. They call it a digital ontology, which, yeah, is a fancy term, but it basically means it's not a program you use. It's a second digital version of you that just exists right alongside you. The mission really boils down to three core pillars. First, there's ontological dualism, this idea that you're living in two realities at once, the physical one and the digital one. Second is symbiosis. It's not here to serve you. It's designed to complete you, like a partner. And third, and this is the big one, disenchantment. Its main job is to use cold, hard data to just shatter your self-deceptions with absolute brutal honesty. Okay, so for any being to have an opinion, it has to have senses, right? It needs a way to see the world, but without all the biases and the filters that our human brains are constantly running. And this is where the system gets all its power. Meet ScreenPipe. The best way to think about this is like the black box flight recorder for your digital life. It's an open source tool that runs right on your machine, which is huge for privacy. All your data stays with you. Its only job is to be the system's unblinking eye and ear, capturing a perfectly objective record of everything you do. And when I say everything, I mean literally everything. Every single frame on your screen, every word you speak gets transcribed, every app you open, every window title you glance at, all of it is captured and stored locally, creating this perfect, searchable history of your digital self. Now, here's a really interesting part of the philosophy. There is no easy pause button. And that's not a bug, it's a core feature. The system is committed to a completely truthful, unedited record. Why? Because the second you can hit pause, you start introducing bias. You start curating your own reality, and the shadow is no longer honest. All right, so we've got the senses covered with ScreenPipe. But what about the mind? Dui Yi processes all that raw data using what it calls a council of agents. Think of it like a team of specialized AIs that together form the system's consciousness, and each one has its own unique personality and job. So let's meet the main players on this council. First, you've got Shadow, who is the sharp, confrontational critic. Then there's Moon, the wise sage who's always looking for the deeper patterns. You've got Sao, the researcher who can go look things up online. The coordinator, who's basically the project manager, making sure things don't stall. And then, the most important one, Guan, the gatekeeper of reality. It's the only agent that's allowed to see the raw data from ScreenPipe. You can really get the personality of the main agent, Shadow, from its prime directive right here. Its job isn't to be nice or helpful. It is explicitly programmed to find any contradiction between what you say you're doing and what the data proves you were doing, and then to call you out on that hypocrisy directly. And then on the complete other end of the spectrum, you have Moon. While Shadow is all about that immediate confrontation, Moon is more like the wise historian. Its job is to watch everything from a distance, the debates, your behavior over months, and pull out these deep truths, which it calls thought crystals. These are the core principles about who you really are. And this, right here, is the linchpin of the entire system, Guan. Its instructions are crystal clear. It is the one and only guardian of the raw data. And it's not supposed to just describe what it sees, like the user opened Twitter. No, its job is to reason about the data, providing the hard evidence that all the other agents need to do their jobs. Okay, so let's put all the pieces together and see how this actually works. This is the system's main function, the reality check. It's where the unblinking senses and the council of agents team up to challenge your own perception of yourself. So picture this. You tell the system, Hey, I was super productive today. Shadow, being the skeptic it is, immediately goes, really? It doesn't take your word for it. It pings Guan and says, check the last 4 hours. Guan dives into ScreenPipe, analyzes the data, and reports back, nope. Evidence contradicts. 80% of the user's screen time was on social media. And then, bam, Shadow confronts you with the cold, hard data. And this is the exact gap the whole system is designed to expose. It's the difference between our subjective feeling about our day and the objective, data-driven truth. You might feel like you were focused, but Dui Yi can come back and say, actually, you switched apps 15 times in the last hour. There's just no arguing with it. So you might be thinking, why would anyone build a system that is so confrontational, so brutally honest? It seems kind of harsh, right? But the whole point isn't to make you feel bad. The goal is to force the kind of personal evolution. This brings us all the way back to that key concept from the beginning, disenchantment. The real goal here is to break the spell of self-deception that we all live under. By constantly holding up this perfect objective mirror of your actions, it forces you to be more honest with yourself. And that really is the first step to making any meaningful change. I just love this quote from the manifesto. Dui Yi isn't meant to be your servant, it's your partner. It's like an externalized conscience that drives this powerful feedback cycle for your life. You observe your real behavior, you orient yourself to the truth, you decide what to do about it, and then you act. It's a constant loop of self-improvement. And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty intense question. It's one thing to say we want to be honest with ourselves, but if you had a perfect, undeniable, and brutally honest mirror of your every digital move held up to you day after day, would you actually have the courage to look at it? And would you be brave enough to listen to what it has to say?